Hey, my name is Kathy Roberts. I am the Tidy Tutor, and right now the main reason for this video is when you have a holiday or something to prepare for and you want something special, but you don't want to spend the time of that day cooking, then this is a great thing to make ahead of time. It's really easy. We're making lasagna together, and then you have it made a couple of days in advance. You put it in the oven on the day of, and bada boom, there you go. You got a nice meal to make, and it stays really kind of nice where you could just cut a piece and heat it up. You know, if you want to have more of a relaxed holiday and less of a very formal one, this is a great thing to do. So this is you and I cooking together, and we're making lasagna. If you like this video, please like it. Please go to my website, thetidytutor.com. We always have something going on because life doesn't stop. It keeps going, and we always need help with it, and that's what I'm here for. Hey, my name is Kathy Roberts. I am the Tidy Tutor, and we are going to make lasagna together. Today is a Sunday, and I'm all relaxed and dressed comfortably. This is my dad's sweater, and it's one of those things that we talk about, the sentimental things that we like to keep and keep them to a minimum. Well, this is one of them. So today I am dressed very comfortably. I'm gonna cook in the kitchen, make some lasagna, and you're gonna make it with me. Let's do it. Now I already have the pasta cooked and drained. I have ground beef, or chopped meat as I like to call it, browned. I have my lasagna pan. This is a disposable one. I have my mozzarella already grated, and I like to put my gravy or sauce, whatever you like to call it, in like a container like this. It makes it easier than, you know, dipping a ladle or a cup or something into where you have your gravy made, and, you know, it just makes a mess. And this is much more easier to, you know, maneuver. If you don't want to use homemade sauce, you know, you don't have to. Get a couple of jars of something. You need about 48 ounces, okay? And I like to use 2 pounds of mozzarella, and I grate it myself. You don't have to do that either. You can just buy it already grated. I forgot the pot cheese. I got to go get it. And by pot cheese, what I mean is ricotta, or ricotta, whatever you like to say. I have Polly-O here. It isn't necessarily because I think Polly-O is the best. It happened to be what was on sale. All right, this has like a, you know, plastic thing on top, so I'm going to cut this around so I can get it out and get it off, I mean. So there's that. And we're going to construct the lasagna. I take some of this, the sauce, and I just kind of drop it in there. Take my wooden spoon and I move it around a little bit. Then I take my pasta and you open it and you stretch it out and you lay it down. Do, 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 do. I always like to sing some for some reason. Makes it like I have a theme song for everything, kind of. So I lay down, you know, 3 of them. And take some meat. Make sure, of course, you start with washed hands. Sprinkle the meat in there. If you're a vegetarian, you don't have to put meat. Some people like to put spinach maybe, or sliced zucchini instead of meat, which makes it nice. It's a vegetarian lasagna. Mozzarella, grab a handful. Get that there. I don't know if I mentioned the Parmesan cheese. We need that too. Here it is. And, you know, any kind of grated cheese that you like to use, Romano, Parmesan, whatever. Put that on there. So, and we're going to have to put the Polly-O on there. And there we go. I just spooned some on. Let's do this. And you just put them a little, you know, a few steps away from each other. I know I have pictures of a different lasagna I made one time because I wanted to just put it up as a how-to with pictures. So I'll use that to show you what it looks like. And we just keep going, and then when we're done getting it on there, then we start another layer. So we take another piece of pasta, lay it down. You know, we never call the pasta pasta, we call it macaroni. We have the gravy, and I just like pour it on. One of the things you want to make sure you do is make sure that the edges are always wet, because otherwise you get like dry edges and it's yucky. So not all that much really, you know, just enough. You don't want it wet. And then there's always the gravy that you can put on afterwards, you know, put a little on afterwards on the top. That was about 3 pounds of chopped meat that I made. Now, if you have a container that, like, say, a ragu or something, you're still going to want to dump it into this. It doesn't dump out of a jar as easily as it would with a spout. If it really gets stuck, you can put it under water. You know, run some water over it, and it will unstick. And some mozzarella. Now, it looks like I'm not going to need 2 whole pounds, so if you want to get just like 1.5 pounds, that should do good. And, you know, when your sauce is nice and flavorful, that, you know, you don't have to put any kind of spices or anything else, because all the spices are in your gravy. Meat on top, the meat on top, meat on top, the meat on top. You know, you could have your children help you with this. It gets to be a bit messy and stuff, but it sure is fun. And children will eat what they help you with. Now I have to grate some more cheese. I just do it by hand with a cheese grater. Grate the cheese, grate the cheese, I'm grating the cheese. Grate the cheese, grate the cheese, I'm grating the cheese. If you have a food processor, then of course this goes a lot easier. I don't have one, and I don't care. That sounds like a song, right? I don't have one, and I don't care. I don't have one, and I don't care, right? All right. Let's see. I think that's enough for now, because I don't feel like doing anymore. Nice. Nice and nice. My father used to say that. Nice and nice. That's nice and nice. And everything was nice. Nice piece of bread. Nice everything. Nice salad, right? Put on the pot cheese. Put it on. Do you ever remember, if anybody watched Sesame Street years ago, there was a song called Put Down the Ducky, and they had a lot of celebrities sing it with them, and it was put down the ducky, put it down. Put down the ducky, oh, you gotta leave the duck alone. It was about saxophone playing. Put down the ducky. Put it down. Put down the ducky if you want to play the saxophone. And it was Ernie, I think. It was Ernie that wanted to play the saxophone. You know, he really loves his rubber ducky. Anyway, the whole reason I sang that was because I was singing, put down the pot cheese. Put it down. Put down the pot cheese. Oh, you gotta put the pot cheese down. But I had to explain the whole thing, so it made it that I couldn't actually sing it while I was doing it. Maybe next time. Alright, so we're going to put, we need to put the gravy. Gravy, gravy. I have another video where we make gravy. If you go to my website, thetidytutor.com, put in your name and email, you will get 1 tip a day for 10 days from me that will rock your world. Help you so much in keeping the house in order. And also, when that happens, you'll be on my list. And when you get emails from me, like when you get the email that is this video, I will have on that page the recipe and the making of the gravy. Now, on that video, I talk about how I call it gravy. A lot of people call it sauce. And it all depends on where you come from, I guess, in Italy or something, who knows. And then also another thing with that is macaroni or pasta. We never called it pasta, we called it macaroni. And I think that was because it was very American. And my father and mother, they wanted to be American. Not that they didn't love being Italian and everything. They were very Italian. But they came here, my mother came here from Italy on, you know, on the boat, as they say. My father was born here, but his mother and father came here. My father was the firstborn. He didn't speak English until after he went to school and learned it in school. Went to school speaking Italian. And the thing about, you know, coming to this country back then was they really wanted to be American. They wanted to be American. Everything about America was cool to them. So I guess if they called it macaroni, so did they. I think that's why my name starts with a K instead of a C, Kathy or Catherine, because in Italy, you know, I think there's no K's. It would be Catherine with a C. But, you know, they wanted very American. They wanted to be very American. So my first name starts with a K, although he used to call me Caterina, you know, even though my name is Catherine, and he would call me Catherine. He's the only one. Nobody else called me Catherine. Everybody calls me Cat. But he called me Catherine. But every so often he would say, Caterina, like that. All right, so I have the cheese on there, which I should have saved for last because it's the last layer. What are you going to do? Because it makes a nice presentation with it melted on top. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get another layer on there. Let's see. So we put this here. Ooh, la 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 la. Da 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 da. And now we're going to do the pot cheese, and I could sing the song and you'll understand it. Put down the pot cheese. Put it down. Put down the pot cheese. Oh, you gotta put the pot cheese down. All right, so there we go. Although I guess I could put one more pasta. You know, it's kind of like it's coin toss. Make a decision. Just decide. It's not that big a deal. You really would like the top layers to look nice. And I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. You know, I don't think I actually learned how to cook. I just watched. You know, nobody ever like said, you know, here, let me teach you how to make this. My mother died when I was little, so I didn't have my mother to watch. But my father, I did have to watch. He was a very good cook. And since I was the last one born, he was home quite a bit when I grew up because he retired. And whereas with my brothers and sisters, he was working. And like to get the edges, like I said, the edges are important so that they aren't curled up and yucky, you know. And see, this is about 48 ounces because I could see it when I put it in there. So that is great because 2 jars of Prego or Ronzoni or whatever the heck, you know, there is out there in the world will, you know, will get that for you. Even if you go to, you know, a local Italian place and get their homemade gravy, you know, if that's important to you, you could do that. I know that there's lots of my Italian family that would never even eat what wasn't homemade, you know, gravy. They wouldn't eat. They'd be like, oh, no, thanks. I'll just have salad, you know. All right, so now I'm going to put some foil on this and get it in the oven. Now, you should have the oven, you know, preheated a little bit to maybe like 350. Keep it in there for about an hour. And then when you take it out, let it sit for maybe 20 minutes. And it'll be beautiful. You know, I thought I would show you how I do the foil thing because if you take it and you just do this, it's really not big enough. So what I do is I do 1, 2, about the same size, and I put them together like this, and then I fold it here, and then you fold it again. Like that, see? And then when you open it up, look at how nice, see? Nice fold. And then when you put it down, you have plenty of room to go around the outside of your pan. Okay, so I'll put it in the oven and I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, there's something I didn't mention. What I like to do is, and what's really, you know, a helpful tip, is get something like this. You can even use a cookie sheet if you want one, but something that isn't like flexible and bendable like the tin is if you use a tin. And then this way, you put it, part of my back, in there, and then you put it in the oven. And when you have to take it out, it's easy. Plus, if it drips a little bit on the edges, it's going to drip in your little pan here or on the cookie sheet. Because if you try to pick this up in there hot, sometimes it just bends in half. It could be really difficult, especially if you have any of your teenage kids helping you or, you know, early 20s or something like that, and you say, can you get that up out of the oven? They are just not going to be experienced enough to realize that you have to have something on your hand to pull it out from the bottom, you know, like a oven mitt or something that when you pull it out of the oven, you have your hand underneath it. Otherwise, if you try to take it out like this from the oven with it being all hot and smushy, it ain't going to be good. Okay, so we'll put it in the oven like this. This is something that I do if I want to enjoy the day that I have coming up. Instead of cooking, I'll do it a few days ahead of time. Then all I have to do is put it in the oven, take it out, let it sit a little while. I'll have some garlic bread, I'll have some salad, some Parmesan cheese, maybe a bottle of wine, have some coffee and dessert, and you've got it going on. And you get to enjoy the day with everybody else. A little bit of preparation, a little bit of thought, and we really can be on top of our game. My name is Kathy Roberts. I am the Tidy Tutor. Thanks so much for joining me. Please remember to go to my website, thetidytutor.com. Leave me your name and email, and I'll send you my tips. 1 tip a day for 10 days that'll rock your world. See you on the inside.